I had been with Beckham for 7 years. Now he was getting married. His fiancée was a beautiful, high-status Omega. Naturally, a kept-man arrangement like ours should have come to an end. But Beckham said I could make one request. Wiping the sweat off my forehead, I dragged my heavy suitcase out the door. 1. I first learned Beckham was getting married from the television. The tall man had his arm around a smaller, delicate-looking man, staring blankly at the cameras. Yes, we're getting married. I patiently watched the press conference to the end, then switched off the TV. Right after turning it off, I shivered out of nowhere. As expected, a man wrapping his arm around another man's waist still looked kind of weird. I spaced out for a while, then suddenly remembered Beckham would be home soon, so I hurried into the kitchen to cook. By the time Beckham came back, I had just finished making 4 dishes and a soup. At the table, I had wanted to ask about his engagement, but then I remembered his constant rule: don't talk while eating, don't talk while sleeping, so I quietly shut my mouth. In the end, it was he who couldn't hold back first. What's wrong? You're never this quiet during meals. Since he'd given me tacit permission, I finally spoke. Beckham, are you really getting married? He nodded. Nothing more. I was completely baffled. Then what about me? Beckham stopped what he was doing and looked at me with slight confusion. What's the matter with you? It has nothing to do with you. You'll keep living here just the same. I'll set up another place for that person. I let out a sigh, still not used to how ridiculously melodramatic this world was. 2. I tried to straighten out Beckham's thinking. Since you're getting married, you should cut things off with me. You can't do that to him. Beckham frowned, clearly not understanding. What do you mean? You're leaving me? Sensing his domineering streak was about to flare up, I quickly soothed him. No, that's not what I mean. I'm saying my presence will seriously hurt your marriage. And besides, this marriage of yours involves 2 companies. You have to treat it seriously. This reasoning, solid as it was, did manage to sink in. Beckham's furrowed brow slowly eased. You're right. I relaxed. But then his tone suddenly shifted. But I don't want to be apart from you. Huh? So you like me? That question froze Beckham completely. It took him a long while before he finally said, You are my Omega. I waved a hand dismissively, unfazed. Come on. That doesn't mean much. We don't even have a lifelong bond, Mark. Beckham and I locked eyes. He looked a little restless, while I stayed calm and carefree. No, I still won't agree. I'm not letting you go. Realizing this back and forth with him was going nowhere, I just pursed my lips and fell silent. He might disagree, but plenty of others would agree. 3. That night, for some reason, Beckham was unusually clingy. He didn't even shower. He just insisted on staying close to me. I was completely worn out and too lazy to ask what was wrong with him. The next morning, he even wanted to take the day off, but I shooed him out. Go make money. A real man should have ambitions beyond the 4 walls of home. You know. Beckham, face cold, slowly tried to button his shirt, fumbling with it forever without managing even one. It annoyed me to watch, so I yanked him closer and buttoned it up for him in no time. Stop sulking. Go to work. You're young. Don't waste your time drowning in this kind of thing. His expression turned even darker as he stomped out. If it weren't for the need to maintain his domineering CEO persona, I would have sworn he'd turn back 3 times on his way out. After freshening up, I dressed neatly and headed out myself. Of course, I wasn't going to work. I was going to visit Beckham's parents. Before entering, I deliberately stomped my feet to make sure the soles of my shoes were soft enough. Sure enough, once inside, no one invited me to sit, so I just stood in the living room, bored, staring down at my toes. 4. About an hour later, Beckham's mother finally appeared, moving at a leisurely pace. What are you here for? I think you wouldn't want the world to find out that your soon-to-be married son is secretly keeping a lover on the side, would you? God, that sounded straight out of some old-fashioned soap opera. I guess I'd been fully marinated in this world's flavor by now. What do you want? The woman, who had been looking down her nose at me with pure disdain, finally frowned and lowered her chin to actually look at me. Tell Beckham to send me away and arrange a job for me. That's it? She looked a little surprised. I was a little surprised too. Too little? Then make it 5 million on top. You're insatiable. Right. Had to get the insult out of her system to feel satisfied. Huh. I went along smoothly. Then less. That's fine. I'm easy. In the end, we settled on, Beckham would kick me out. And she'd give me 4,050,000. Satisfied. I walked away hugging my new bank card. Aside from my feet aching from standing so long, the trip had been very fruitful. Now, all that was left was to wait for Beckham to drive me away. 5. She had been difficult to deal with in words, but her efficiency was surprisingly high. That very night, Beckham didn't come home. He only called around 10, telling me to go to bed early. I cheerfully pretended I had no idea what was going on and replied with a good night. But to my surprise, Beckham didn't come back for an entire week. Was abandoning me really such a hard thing to accept? When I finally saw him again, there were injuries on his face, and he didn't look well. The servant who came back with him immediately started packing up my belongings the moment he entered the door. I knew what they were doing, so I didn't scream or ask questions. I just reached out and touched the bruise on Beckham's face. How'd this happen? Does it hurt? He lowered his head and said nothing. In no time, my luggage was packed. A single huge suitcase held everything from my 7 years here. I struggled to drag it along, following the person leading me out. That was when Beckham suddenly spoke. Is there anything else you want? You can make one more request. 6. I froze, then grinned. Huh. No need. We're brothers. No need to be polite. Yes. In my heart. Instead of seeing Beckham as some alpha lover, I treated him more like an overly helpful buddy. Because honestly, I wasn't a real, native-born Omega. I was just an ordinary man. Maybe heaven took pity on me and dropped me, a 28-year-old single IT guy, into this world where people act like they'll die if they don't fall in love. And here, it wasn't just men and women dating. Men could be with men, women with women. God, I know you want me to experience romance, but this is way too much, no limits at all. Oh, right. In this world, people weren't divided by male or female. They were divided as alpha, beta, and omega. Before this, I used those 3 words all the time, but I never imagined they could be used like this. When I first arrived, I was clueless and afraid to reveal myself. I could only learn cautiously, picking up bits of information from overheard conversations. Luckily, the me in this world seemed to have the reputation of being stammering and quiet. Normally, I just had to hide in a corner, listening to others gossip or scold me. What I hadn't expected was that the people here could be so wildly unreasonable. 7. When I found myself lying on a strange bed, my head burning for no reason, I realized too late. I'd been drugged, even though I was a grown man. My body no longer felt like my own, and everything before my eyes blurred. As my consciousness completely slipped away, the last thing I smelled was a strong stench of liquor. The dizzying smell made me even weaker, but I managed to grab onto the corner of someone's clothes. Help me. When I woke up again, my whole body ached like crazy, my bones creaking with every move. Half asleep, I stumbled toward the bathroom. After cleaning myself up and stepping back out, I realized there was another man lying on the bed. That must have been the person whose clothes I'd grabbed last night. Just then, the man slowly opened his eyes. I couldn't help but sigh inwardly. He was seriously handsome. Like a buddy. I patted his shoulder. Thanks for last night. Man, if you ever need help, I'll do my best. He gave me a cold glance and said nothing. Suddenly, the door burst open and a swarm of photographers rushed in with their cameras blazing. The non-stop flashing left me stunned. But the man in bed didn't even flinch. He calmly got up, half-dressed, and walked into the bathroom. I was left staring at the reporters, while they stared back at me, until one of them asked, Dawson, are you planning to openly defy your family now? Dawson, what's your relationship with that alpha? Dawson, the barrage of questions made my head buzz. I quickly raised my hand. Stop. I just spent a night lying next to another guy. What's the big deal? 8. The room fell silent for a second. Then everyone gasped sharply. Immediately, The noise grew even louder. I was so annoyed I shoved my way out and bolted. When I finally made it home, I found my belongings already thrown outside, scattered all over the ground. The old security guard inside looked at me with pure contempt and sneered. Dawson said he doesn't want a shameless Omega like you. Go find another place to live. I stood there, dazed, the cold air pressing in on me. Why did this scene feel exactly like one of those old-school domineering CEO romance novels with a gender-swap twist? But unlike some lucky main character, I wasn't about to magically turn into the adored lead. All I could do was pack up my pitiful luggage and check into a rundown hotel. As one of the most unwanted illegitimate sons, my pockets were painfully empty. After paying for a room, I barely had money left for food. I thought I could at least find a job to survive. But even the most basic labor work rejected me. They said no company was allowed to hire me, otherwise, it would mean going against them. 9. Just when I was at my lowest, I ran into Beckham again, the same man who had helped me that night. But our reunion was far from romantic. His car almost clipped me when I was already at my weakest. When I stood up and saw him, I felt strangely moved. Oh man, my buddy, you always show up when I'm in trouble. Are you an angel or what? But he just shot me a cold look and turned to leave. Desperate, I squatted right back down and clung to his leg. Brother, please, do a good deed all the way to the end. You've got to see me through. Beckham's eyes were still cold, his voice flat. I'm not your brother. Well, of course I knew that. Then can I call you buddy? Just help me out this once more. Buddy, I'll work like a horse for you if I have to. I was really out of options. Beckham was the only person in this world who had ever shown me kindness. So I wasn't letting go of this lifeline. Beckham frowned at me, as if he couldn't understand why I was acting this way. I have a car. I don't need a horse. Great. So he was even stranger than me. 9. I can still do housework, cook, even keep the bed warm. I pleaded, listing every skill I had, my eyes begging him. The two of us stood frozen in the middle of the street until his secretary finally spoke up. The banquet hosted by your fiancé is about to start. We should leave. Hearing that, Beckham's brows furrowed even more. The secretary, noticing his worsening mood, hurriedly added, this really isn't optional. Your fiancée and her family are taking this alliance very seriously. Beckham closed his eyes briefly, clearly irritated. Understood. I glanced between them both, feeling clever, and immediately stepped up to his ear. You don't want the alliance? I'll help you. I looked at him earnestly, my eyes full of hope, but he didn't seem to trust me much. You? How will you help? I can pretend to be your Omega, and I even know what pregnancy symptoms are for Omegas. I can act it convincingly. He still hesitated, eyeing me cautiously, so I impulsively grabbed his hand. Trust me once. It'll be worth it. Buddy. All right, I'll give you one chance. But if I mess it up, I'll spin around and bow to you. That won't be necessary. With the long-term plan for a meal ticket secured, I got excited, hopped into his luxury car in a few quick steps, and waved at him. Get in. Come on. Come on. 10. In the car, we quickly updated each other. He even bought me a whole new outfit. I ran my fingers over the soft fabric, marveling at it. Beckham glanced at me a few times but said nothing. I had no burden on my mind and smiled at him. These clothes are so comfy and look great. I've never worn anything this nice before. He hesitated a bit, then finally said a few words. You did well this time. You can take a few more. I didn't shy away and thanked him freely. Really? You're such a good person. When we arrived, he got out first. I immediately changed my boisterous stance, shrank a little, stayed close to him, and grabbed his sleeve. Feeling his probing gaze, I reminded him, pay attention. I'm now your lover meeting your fiancé's parents for the first time, the poor little Omega protecting you from this alliance. You need to take care of me. Be concerned about me. He hesitated, but then slowly took my hand. Ah, at our age, still this kind of pure romance act? I dragged his hand to my waist and settled it there. He flinched like he'd been burned, almost pulling away. I hissed, glaring at him. Husband, hold me. What? Is our relationship something to hide? He seemed shocked by my use of husband, his pupils widening, but then he obediently pulled me closer. I felt reassured, reshaping my expression into a timid little rabbit, fearful yet longing, scanning our surroundings. 11. Inside. Wow. The place was extravagantly luxurious. If I weren't Beckham's boyfriend at the moment, I'd have been completely dazzled. But Beckham remained composed, calmly addressing the central sofa. Mother, I've arrived. The elegant, well-maintained woman on the sofa lifted her eyes, gave a faint HM, and then stared sharply at me. Beckham, who is he? I forced a cheerful smile and replied, Auntie. Hello, I'm Dawson, Beckham's boyfriend. The woman didn't respond immediately, instead scanning me from head to toe like evaluating merchandise rather than looking at a person. After a moment, she finally said, Beckham, you're being ridiculous again. A high-handed tone, dismissing both me and Beckham. Beckham seemed used to it, responding calmly, Mother, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I do have an Omega now. And as for the arranged marriage, I must refuse. My goodness. Their conversation felt like a daytime soap opera. I had to fight the urge to laugh. The woman slammed her hand on the table, clearly angry. You insolent brat. Who gave you the right to refuse this? Kneel. What? There are so many people around. And Beckham isn't a kid, kneel? Beckham knelt. I knelt too. For some reason, the moment Beckham went down, my legs weakened. Maybe out of brotherly loyalty. I didn't want him embarrassed, or I'd just gotten into the role. 12. The moment we obediently knelt. 2 thuds echoed on the floor, one Beckham's, one mine. He turned his head toward me. Instinctively, I mouthed, It's fine. I'm with you. Seeing both of us kneel, the woman's anger grew. She grabbed a teacup from the table and threw it at me. I froze, but Beckham blocked it for me. Truly a man among men, a brother among brothers. I was moved, determined to play my part well. I clutched the man in front of me, shouting, We truly love each other. Please bless us. A bit cheesy, but it worked. The woman, previously seated, finally stood, losing some composure. Some nameless Omega comes into our house talking about true love? Do you think I'm dead? Forgive me, I hadn't watched much soap operas, so it took me a moment to understand. I blankly but confidently replied, I have a name. I'm Dawson. Seeing people around trying not to laugh, and Beckham looking speechless, I realized she meant I was unknown in the upper circles. A little embarrassed, I whispered an apology to Beckham. Sorry, I'm a bit naive. He shook his head, signaling it was fine, then helped me up. Mother, we truly love each other, and he's already carrying my child. Oh my, that came fast. I clutched my stomach in a feeble stance and leaned into Beckham. Beckham's mother's expression darkened. She started to speak, but I shouted, Beckham, my stomach hurts so much. I exaggeratedly grabbed his collar, tears streaming. Beckham performed even better, sweeping me into a bridal carry, and as we left, reminded his mother, Mother, we're leaving now. The arranged marriage can be forgotten. 13. He carried me all the way to the car, placing me down with the utmost gentleness. Only after the car left the estate did I regain my composure. Wiping away my tears, Beckham finally spoke. Do you need to go to the hospital? I patted my stomach and smiled at him. Hospital? There's nothing in here but air. I'm perfectly healthy. Then let's go eat. What do you want? So on point. My eyes nearly sparkled. Anything's fine. Even though I said anything. Sitting in such a luxurious restaurant, I couldn't help feeling a little anxious. Places like this, what if I don't get enough to eat? Sure enough, the dishes came in tiny portions. I dared not eat greedily, fearing each bite would be too small. I really wasn't full, but I couldn't say anything. The prices here were absurd. I ate faster than Beckham, finishing first and staring at him longingly. Even with my direct gaze, he ate slowly and gracefully, pausing occasionally to ask, Are you full? Want some more? I shook my head, half-heartedly. Maybe I'd sneak out later for some late-night street food. 14. Knowing I had nowhere to stay, Beckham brought me to his place. Pick any room. You might need to help out again. Like you did today. I tapped my chest to show it was fine. Naturally, I settled in. Around midnight, hunger woke me. I crept downstairs, searching for nearby stores. Damn it, no food stalls in sight. I was so focused I didn't even notice when someone appeared in front of me, bumping into a solid chest. I recoiled a few steps, rubbing my forehead in confusion. I realized it was Beckham blocking my way. His expression cold, brows furrowed slightly. He looked intimidating. "What are you doing?" I stammered, unable to explain. How could I tell him I wasn't full from dinner? That would hurt the nice guy's feelings. I can't sleep. Can't sleep? Or are you hiding something? Dawson, stop pretending. Admit it. Are you? Fine. I admit I wasn't full at dinner. I really appreciate it. It was delicious, but my appetite is big. Sorry. He had guessed already. My uncooperative appetite. So embarrassing. My face heated. I didn't dare look at him. So, you just got up to hunt for food? Yeah. I met his gaze, realizing we might have misunderstood each other. You don't think I got up to steal your confidential files or something, right? You really did get up just for food? Yeah, really. My stomach growled right on cue, giving me confidence. See, even if I lie, my stomach can't. 16. Misunderstanding cleared. I lost the motivation to go out. I grabbed some noodles and eggs from the kitchen. While eating, I complained to Beckham. You suspect me of things? I'm all alone. Everyone avoids me. Even if I had info, there's no one to give it to. And why would I sell your info? Clinging to your thigh is already a luxury life for me. Slurping noodles happily, I lost myself in the meal. After finishing, I patted the table, making grand promises. Don't worry. As long as you keep me fed, I'll never betray you. Beckham looked at me helplessly, then looked away, as if he couldn't bear to watch. Ambitious, he muttered. By the way, your noodles smell amazing. Can I have another bowl? Go ahead. Eat as much as you want. All right. How about you? Want some? Me? He looked puzzled, as if he didn't understand why I asked. Well, you didn't eat much tonight. Want more? Never getting enough can ruin your stomach. How do you know I have a stomach problem? I waved my hand like an expert. Hey, 9 out of 10 CEOs have stomach issues. One's crazy. The rest have stomach problems. It's tradition. Tradition. Any science behind that? Nope. Pure experience. I'll make some for you. If you can't finish, I'll eat it. Okay. Without waiting for him, I prepared 2 portions. Hunger had driven me wild these past few days. Beckham stood beside me, watching as I stuffed ingredients into the pot. Tasty. Guaranteed. Confidently adding more. I occasionally showed off my survival skills. Beckham looked intimidating, but in practice, he spoke and acted like a precise, programmed machine. Strict, methodical, oddly fascinating. In the end, I didn't even get a bite from Beckham's noodles. He didn't even leave me a bit of broth. But seeing the empty bowl, I felt a small pride. See, my cooking skills aren't bad at all. I looked at Beckham with soft eyes, smiling. How's that? Full now. Tasty, right? He remained precise and restrained. Yeah, tasty. I raised an eyebrow, feeling proud. I didn't notice that Beckham's gaze lingered on me unusually long, unusually focused. 17. Later, a message came from Beckham's mother. Playing around with that omega is fine, and the child can be recorded in the family registry. But the marriage arrangement must still go through. No excuses. I pouted, completely dissatisfied. In front of the messenger, I even hugged Beckham tightly. Beckham, are you just playing with me? Come on, say something. Husband. The messenger, once proud, now looked a little awkward, pretending to glance around. Beckham, on the other hand, patted me indulgently. I'm not just playing. Don't overthink it. The messenger couldn't help but advise. You should understand. As the heir, this is your responsibility. You can't shirk it. Beckham's expression turned cold, slightly intimidating. This isn't your place. Leave. As soon as the messenger left, I got off Beckham and looked a little worried. What do we do? The child isn't real. We can't hide it for long. Actually, it could be real. Huh? What did you say? I didn't hear. Nothing. I just mean we'll take it one step at a time. 18. One step at a time. At the time, I didn't realize that would stretch into 7 years. During that period, I was pregnant 26 times and lost the baby 27 times. I told Beckham repeatedly that this method wouldn't work. But somehow it controlled his mother for 7 years. I became numb. Throughout those 7 years, I stayed by Beckham's side. We got along extremely well. My cycles and his sensitivity periods even helped each other. I'm really grateful to him. Without Beckham, I can't imagine having this kind of relationship with anyone else. Beckham was a bit old-fashioned, with the CEO-type intensity, but he was kind, gentlemanly, and gentle. He provided me with work and lodging and taught me how to survive better in this world. But all of that was temporary. As Beckham approached 30, his mother finally lost patience. In the end, he couldn't escape the arranged marriage. Beforehand, he had hinted at me during those days, touching my stomach with a focused gaze. And I was still worried for him. What do we do? This time we really can't avoid it. If you don't marry, all your efforts at the company over the years will be wasted. He kept his hand on my stomach, eyes unwavering. There is a way, if you truly have a child. I tapped his hand, thinking he was joking. You make it sound so easy. You know, if someone is willing to have a child for another, they must love them a lot. But I don't love you, and you don't love me. How could I possibly give you a real child? He slowly removed his hand from my stomach and rested his head on my lap. After a long while, he repeated my words. Yeah, you don't love me. I thought it was a little strange, though I couldn't tell why. I could only whisper along with him. You don't love. 16. Beckham eventually accepted the arranged marriage, and I moved out of his house. Looking back while leaving, I felt dazed. 7 years, a long stretch of time. And just like that, it ended lightly. The movers called me back to reality, and without hesitation, I got into the car to leave. Just 7 years. What is that compared to a lifetime? Beckham didn't see me off, and I didn't wait for him. From then on, far apart, it was best we returned to strangers. 18. Using the money I had, I bought an apartment, and with years of savings, I could survive comfortably for a while. I quit my job at Beckham's company to rest for a time. But every time I set 2 portions of food on the table, left space for another side when putting clothes away, always slept on the inner side of the bed, and woke up instinctively reaching for someone beside me. I had to admit, I wasn't used to living alone anymore. Sometimes, craving a snack, I would instinctively open my phone to call Beckham, then realize I couldn't anymore. To distract myself, I got a dog and a cat, hoping they'd fill the void. I was happy when they arrived, but when I wanted to send their photos to Beckham, I felt sad again. I slammed my phone shut in frustration, deciding to write a diary instead. But soon, every entry turned into, "The cat and dog are so cute. If Beckham were here, would he like them? He's always so calm, never overly happy or sad. I wonder if his fiancée affects his mood at all, but if he could be a little happier, that would be nice. What is he doing now? Sigh. I miss him. I miss Beckham." Looking up, the notebook was full of his name. My eyes rested on the last line. I miss him. I miss Beckham. Tears fell unconsciously. I realized and couldn't deny it. It was over. I had fallen in love with him. 19. The first New Year I spent alone after leaving Beckham. I put up the couplets and made dumplings by myself. Sitting on the sofa watching the New Year's gala, the cat and dog curled up around me. I felt happy. I told myself I was already fortunate. Suddenly, fireworks started outside. Excited, I dressed warmly and took the cat and dog downstairs to watch. The fireworks weren't far. They looked clear and beautiful. I looked up at the fireworks, then down at my phone. No New Year's message from Beckham. I pressed my phone, unsure what I was feeling. After watching the fireworks, I walked home with the cat and dog and found a pile of New Year gifts at the door, along with a card. Happy New Year. No signature. I sent the cat and dog inside first, then stood at the door. If you don't come out to see me, we'll never meet again. The hallway lights flickered on and off. In the flashes of light, I didn't even know what I was holding on to. Luckily, after a few moments, Beckham finally came down the stairs. But I only glanced at him before turning to open my door. He called out hurriedly, "Dawson." I looked at him coolly, just as he always maintained. "What are you doing here?" "I don't know. I just missed you." I said nothing, imitating his calm composure. He stepped forward, grabbing my sleeve, head lowered. "I don't know. I really don't. I canceled the engagement. Told my parents I don't want the heir's position. I really don't know what's wrong with me. Dawson, I just want to be near you. I want to spend another 7 years. 17 years. 70 years with you. Dawson, Dawson." He repeated my name over and over, as if saying it could calm him. I still turned and opened my door. "But Beckham, even if we were close, we can't be together forever. You chose the arranged marriage before. Gave up on me. And surely thought it through. Don't regret it lightly. Otherwise, I'll only feel like I'm a backup you could discard. Go back. We've come this far. In the end, we just weren't fated enough." 20. I opened the door, and he let go of my hand without a word. "You're right. Sorry. I disturbed you." For a moment, he became that calm, emotionless, perfectly controlled CEO robot again. I went inside, closed the door, and slid down slowly, leaning against it. "Go back. Beckham, what you need isn't a clumsy, awkward lover. You need resources, support, a marriage that brings tangible benefits. I admit, I miss him, but the moment he said those words, my heart ached more than I missed him. He was blinded by a momentary dependence, but I saw clearly. He had gone off track, but I wasn't his destination. 21. Feeling terrible, I dragged my tired body to clean up the mess. My eyes swept over the pile of New Year gifts Beckham had brought. I hesitated. I had to throw them away, but I wanted to see what the little robot had sent. Snacks I liked, clothes I never wore, thermal underwear, and a note. "Don't skip your thermal underwear. It's cold, you always overdo it." So plain. Yet I could almost see his slightly furrowed poker face in front of me. I couldn't help but smirk, then scolded myself for being soft-hearted. I decided to throw everything away, but secretly kept the note. I went downstairs and tossed all the gift boxes into the trash. Even after doing that, sitting back at home, I felt empty. The dog and cat seemed to sense my mood and stayed quietly by my side. After a while, though, the dog started barking on the balcony. Worried, I rushed over. It was fine, but it kept barking at a spot outside. The snow fell heavily, and I couldn't see clearly, just a vague figure standing there. 22. The figure probably noticed me and started to leave. I worried it might be a thief and followed in that direction toward the kitchen. Looking out the kitchen window, the person stopped at the trash bins. The next moment, he reached straight into a trash bin. Something clicked in my heart. I didn't even bother putting on proper clothes and ran straight down. By the time I reached the ground floor, he was holding a gift box. From the height, I knew immediately who it was. I ran and grabbed him. "Beckham, are you crazy? Reaching into a trash bin? It's filthy." Half covered in snow, he looked at me slowly. "I just wanted to see if you took the gifts. If not, I'll get new ones tomorrow." I smacked his face with both hands, trying to wake him up. "Are you frozen in the head? How can you be so stubborn?" Beckham replied off topic. "Your hands are cold. Go back inside. Don't catch a cold." I got even angrier. "How can you tell if I'm cold? You're practically a snowman yourself." He didn't argue, just kept urging. "Go back. You'll get sick." I glared at him, arms crossed. He reached out to pull me, then froze halfway and withdrew, awkwardly brushing the snow off his coat. "My hands are dirty. I can't touch you. Go back. I'll leave now, so I won't be in your way." He turned and walked away, staggering, clearly frozen. I grabbed him, sighing in exasperation. "Where are you going? Beckham, you really have no idea how to comfort someone, do you?" 23. He looked back at me, confused but with a hint of hope in his eyes. It seemed he didn't know how to look away, only staring straight at me. When two people lock eyes, the one who falls first usually surrenders fastest. I sighed and decided to let my heart act for once. Just as I was about to speak, he said, "Dawson, can I kiss you?" I stared at him in disbelief. This wasn't something he would normally say. He pressed his lips together, seeming a little surprised at his own words. "Sorry," I said that without thinking. No need to hesitate. I lifted my chin and pressed my lips to his. First, I felt the cold snow, then the chill of his lips. A quick touch and release. Remember, let actions lead, not words. That's the only way to win someone's heart. Understand? Whether he could win someone else. I didn't know, but he could win me. Who would have thought I'd have to teach someone how to pursue me? 24. But he learned fast. He opened his coat, wrapping me inside, then kissed me. He was careful at first, warming my lips with his, and then, a bit more than a fleeting kiss. Afterwards, I rested my head on his chest, catching my breath. Then he suddenly asked, "Dawson, have you lost weight? Skipping breakfast again?" I gave him a side eye, slightly annoyed at his lack of subtlety. I stepped out of his arms and into the well-lit hallway. No footsteps followed. I glanced back. He was still by the trash bins, disheveled and snow-covered, looking almost abandoned. I sighed and called out, "Stop standing there. Come on. Let's go home." 25. He almost ran to me. "Are you calling me? Can I come in?" "Why? Are you too proud to come in?" "Though, I admit, this place isn't as big as yours. But, Beckham, if you're willing to live here, I think it can become our home. What do you think?" I tried to sound casual, but I was nervous, palms slightly sweaty. Beckham snapped out of it, gripping my hand back, looking a little nervous himself. "We can have a home together." "Of course we can." 26. Forget whether it's appropriate or not. While 100 people might chase reason, I just need one sincere heart that no snow could bury. Extra, Beckham's perspective. 1. In the scripted path, I would end up in a messy relationship with Dawson due to the setup. He would threaten me to be his shield, and I would use him to fend off the arranged marriage. He would pursue me relentlessly because of my status, and I would grow increasingly annoyed with him. In the end, I would accept the arranged marriage my parents set up, and fall for my Omega wife. Yet, even though everything went according to plan, I still wonder, what is love? Standing next to my fiancé, I couldn't help but think, what is Dawson doing? Is he okay? Is he fed and warm? Is anyone bothering him? Am I really in love with my fiancé? I didn't understand. I remembered the moments Dawson threatened me to be his shield, though his fake crying was comical. I saw his thin clothes and pale, tired face. I remembered his triumphant, lively stance when protecting me from the marriage setup. I remembered his careless, carefree ways. I remembered him always waiting for me to come home. I remembered how, when I was supposed to follow my parents' orders to send him away, I habitually called to report it to him first. He didn't know anything, cheerfully saying goodnight. And because of that goodnight, I inexplicably refused my parents' instructions. I remembered him touching my wound, asking if it hurt. I remembered when we had to part, what I instinctively said. "What else do you want? You can ask for one more thing." At the time, I meant, if he said he wanted me, I would abandon everything to be with him. But he didn't ask for me. He left without hesitation. I still can't conclude whether I loved Dawson, but I realize Dawson probably didn't love me. After he left, I didn't bother him. I thought he didn't want to see me again. Yet I always found myself near his home. Sometimes I saw him walking the dog, sometimes playing with the cat. The more I watched, the stronger the urge grew to be by his side. So I betrayed the script. My heart followed Dawson once. I still don't fully understand love, but I know, in the years with Dawson, I will.